Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Okay, first of all, sorry I brought my own Linux laptop because this works with LibreOffice. No slides up top.
Say again?
No slides up top. Can you get the slides at the top? Or
Yeah,
just
no,
come
not
down?
explain.
That's it. Can you mind that?
Yeah.
Let's have a look. So we're good? We're good. Because I was tempted, and Sam, don't even, I was really tempted to present from that ledge. It's a really interesting space to present it. So introduce what the squeeze, how you tell me your cybersecurity strategy. First of all, apologies, I brought my own Linux laptop with the files installed and the software installed to make sure this works. As you've shown, and it's not the first time this has happened with Linux, that doesn't work. So I've got no notes to work off, so sometimes I might be as surprised by the next slide that comes up as you are, so let's see how it goes. First of all, word of caution, to get through time, especially with pizza on the way, massive errors and imperfections in this, massive conceptual leaps. Whereas I might say something like it's a solid idea and opinion, it's just like a working theory I've got for this evening. You'll have questions at the end. My contact details will be at the end. I will be here and I expect to be one of the last people to leave. All references will be blogged eventually, to be honest. Also, I happen to be the person at the front with the microphone. This doesn't mean I'm the most knowledgeable, the most important. I'll run through the slides and my ideas, especially with pizza inbound, but then I'm very interested in what you think. So who I am, basically, I've had all these jobs, and I was going to run through this slide much quicker. However, as per, I think it's Kat's comment, about networking, and about what you should say for the panel, what you should say afterwards and talk to people. I've got about half of those jobs just through people I know. At least, I think the first and second vintage job was just, I only knew those jobs existed because of the people I knew. So do make the most of networking opportunities like this, the kind of thing that OWASP run all the time. I've worked for these companies, this doesn't really matter. The important thing is I've been in cybersecurity for 24 years. It's not really changed that much and it's not getting any better. And I've spent the last 4 years at least trying to figure out why. Unlike Chris's Beckon software, which I hope is okay, because that's on your profile. Really good presentation on what you can achieve, really honest about where she's come from and where she is now. If you're interested in that idea of perseverance and just keeping trying to recommend the book Grit by Angela Duckworth is worth reading. However, unlike Chris, my presentation is basically why you or we or I should just give up. So not the most inspiring presentation. Is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the effort worth the return you'll get out of it with regard to certain aspects of cybersecurity? So first of all, I'm interested in what you think, a show of hands. With regard to cybersecurity strategy at the highest and most abstract level, which do you think is most important? Technology, people, or processes? So first of all, who thinks technology, the things you buy, the things you build, the things you code, is that the most important aspect of cybersecurity? Show of hands, please. For those of you following along at home, I think that was none. People. So the people you hire, the people you train, those of you at home and at the front, no one bothered to wait for me to finish the sentence. About 95%. Those of you who process what you do. Right, you, and I think you and maybe you're all my new friends because you're all right. Process is the most important part of cybersecurity, especially, I would argue, strategy. What I mean by strategy, you could do an entire presentation on what strategy actually means. I would say, as per Wikipedia, setting goals, determining attack actions to achieve those goals, and then mobilizing resources. To me, the thing that a lot of definitions miss out is prioritization. What do you do first? What do you do in which order? Where do you devote your resources? That's what strategy is, and to me that comes under process. For me, You beat opponents, especially superior opponents, you'd argue you will face, as per Christian Becker's experience with the Shamoon virus. Better strategy is how you win, as far as I'm concerned. My reasoning for being interested in this is strategies for CISOs, the most important cybersecurity, or most powerful cybersecurity practitioners within your organisation. CISOs are equivalent, call them security managers or whatever. And it's also, to me, the most interesting part of that job, especially at roughly £150,000 to £450,000 per year, maybe more. The problem is being a CISO, and those rates vary by location, city, and so on. Like I say, this is the most interesting part. Unfortunately, being a CISO isn't figuring out strategy. What I want to do is decision support for CISOs, because I want to help them think about strategy, all the other stuff, like public relations and being a scapegoat when things go wrong. I'm not interested in even for those salaries. So I'm thinking about decision support and cybersecurity strategy for CISOs at that very highest level. How do you beat these superior opponents? Where do you devote your resources? So let's look at the industry, what's been tried so far. First of all, technology first. Just buy the best stuff. Either it's the best stuff or the cheapest stuff or what you saw at InfoSec Europe or whatever. If there's something bigger and better, then you buy the bigger and better technology. The problem with this is, that's the cyberscape from Momentum as of Q3 this year. That's all the vendors and the areas. That's not even all the products. So if you want to buy the best product, well, do you prioritize identity and access management over endpoint security for a start? That's a strategic decision. That's not about technology. Also, which vendor do you use, know which product from which vendor, and so on and so forth. Also, the problem with technology-led strategy is total cost of ownership. People buy and completely forget. Total cost of ownership being training. People having to learn how to use the user interface of the technology. The interconnections. The new technology you buy will have to interface with all the other new technology and the old technology you use. There's a cost to that. Incompatibility. Especially things from between vendors won't work, even things with the same vendor. Cisco springs immediately to mind. Just won't work. This technology first or technology focused strategy hasn't worked. Next, as per 95% of the people in this room, it's really interesting disagreeing with people above me. Should you favour people? No. If people make mistakes and you can't train people out of making mistakes, that's how people work. So a really good presentation on this by Kelly Shortridge. Only, I think at the moment, the PDF and her blog on this is up online. It's just how people make mistakes. We need to take a safety-focused or safety-minded approach to people. Build systems, put in processes so people don't make mistakes. Stop trying to train people not to make mistakes, especially things like phishing. Please click on the 99% of emails that do with your business, but magically spot the one that's not. It doesn't work. Also, hiring the best people. I've been in this industry for 24 years. There are not enough people with enough talent in this industry to solve their problems purely by hiring enough people. And there never will be. Stop. Next. What's the next strategy? I think, favour process. The reason I do is this paper, some of you will see me quote before, this paper is genius. The base of sound problem, 1991, RAND Corporation did a lot of work with DoD, Department of Defense, US Army. The authors of the paper realized their industry, operations research, war gamers, military analysts, are too focused on kill rates, kill ratios, the size of planes, the number of tanks you have. Are they bigger and better than the Soviet army? Who they'll be fighting over the Rhine, so on and so forth. Then they actually do analysis of previous battles, as they say. Some of you have heard me quote this before. Battle outcomes have historically borne no relationship to the raw force ratio. It's not just biggest army wins. In any modern complex kinetic conflict, so what matters is the ratio of effective forces. When they summarise the issues, the first one they mentioned, to paraphrase, the evidence of history. And these are people who studied conflict since looking back into Roman times. The first one determines are the soft factors. Command control, processes, tactics, strategy. It's what you do with the technology and the people you've you've got, decides whether you win or lose in any conflict. I would argue, and these experts agree. So what else have we tried in cybersecurity? What's the strategy? Bunker mentality. Makes sense. If you protect everything and you build thick enough walls, you can't be attacked. So whereas the bunker mentality got us, problem is attackers aren't attacking everything. Attackers are like exploiting like 5% of vulnerabilities according to recent reports from Canada Security backed by academic research. So you're trying to spread your resource over 100% of your attack surface if attackers are only going to attack 5%. It's an incredibly stupid and wasteful strategy and optimistic. Also, it turns you into the department of no. As a cybersecurity team just says, we can't do that, we don't have time for that, that will be vulnerable, therefore, we don't have the resources to judge the risk, therefore don't put it online. So your business goes around you, your business creates shadow IT. And with shadow IT, not only is your infrastructure more secure, because it's more insecure, because it's not your infrastructure, it's someone else's infrastructure, but also, it might not be as resilient as your infrastructure. So when Gmail goes down, as it seems to do annually for about half a day, you laugh, because your company's not affected, because you convinced the business not to put anything on Gmail, except all your staff are using Gmail. Also, bunker mentality is similar to the padlock, the universal symbol of cybersecurity in all presentations. A padlock doesn't fight back. If I give you a padlock, you will get through that padlock eventually. Even if I give you one of the spoons from upstairs, it might take a couple of years, but you will break it. That's no way to defend anything against superior attackers. It's just, we'll build a thing and take as much time as you want. The next thing people say, especially on Twitter, is back to basics. So let's look at the basics. CIS Top 20 security control, the basics on the left. There you go, inventory control of all hardware and software, continuous vulnerability management of all your vulnerabilities, and control use of admin privileges, and secure configuration of everything, and maintenance monitoring and analysis of everything. As I say, I'm quite old, I've been in this business a long time. I've not heard of an organisation that's managed all those. The basics aren't basic. Please stop trying. Next. To back me up, in a personal conversation I'm creating with permission, the CEO of Thinks, Harun Mia, says, because actual facts on the ground that trying to make the basics work hasn't worked, but that's the evidence we've got. And people haven't managed to put it off for the last 10 years, so why do we keep trying? That's not going to work. DevOps, I think, is amazing, and arguably security is part of DevOps, or DevOps has dragged security into the kind of speed that DevOps is, given as DevSecOps. So does that strategy work? Along with DevSecOps is and DevOps is everything is code. Therefore, all security needs to be code as well. Everything security does needs to be code. Also, because DevOps developers work so damn fast and release so damn often, it all has to be continuous. So that's what you need to do as a security team for this kind of security strategy. Problem with DevSecOps is, it's difficult to do if you've not got a clean slate. It's really good for startups and scale-ups, it's not good for established organizations. Also, you need time to become a DevSecOps organization. It's very hard to do if you've got established infrastructure, so this strategy is not universal. Also, everyone isn't a developer. I could also argue, and this is another full presentation, is everyone shouldn't be a developer, or everyone is not capable of being a developer, therefore stop trying. Also, it's not universally applicable. For some organizations at some scales, it just does not work. It's not the best method for them to use. Those of you, I recognize a lot of you from the Open Security Summit, know Simon Wardley's work. And just how lean, agile, Six Sigma, waterfall are applicable to different organizations and at different stages in their development. Same way with DevOps. So DevSecOps is not a universal strategy, not a universal solution. Also, it's all consuming. Your organization is either DevOps or DevSecOps, or it's not. You can't kind of half do it. So if it doesn't suit all your organization, that strategy does not work. Next, trying to solve this. I looked at academic solutions. Just using one article to represent the few I've looked at. Decision Support Systems Journal, an excellent, I mean this is literally what I'm after, wanting to be decision support for CISOs, wanting to figure out a strategy. Decision support approaches to cybersecurity investment. This is exactly what I'm after. What have they figured out? Summary of the abstract. Information subject managers need effective decision-making strategies. Spot on. So the authors of the paper are going to look at game theory, look at combinatorial organisation, and a hybrid of the two ideas. It's written by 2 professors and 3 PhDs. Great. Very smart people, very difficult subject, they'll have the answer. So I like game theory in theory. Game theory makes all sorts of assumptions about knowledge and the situation and intention. I have, again, it's another talk in and of itself. I have massive issues with game theory being useful in a real-world context. Also, combinational organisation. I've got the term in my notes I can't see, but like multiple choice, multiple objective knapsack problems and finding Nash equilibriums. Looks great. I have no idea what this means. And I started trying to figure out what it means, and I have no idea what it means. This looks really impressive, but it's not a strategy, it's not a solution. If any of you look at this and go, yeah, I've read this, this makes sense, I'm very interested in talking to you afterwards. So as I've said in presentations before, I think metaphorical, an analogical way of solving this problem. Find other people who have problems similar to our cybersecurity problems, see how they've solved it, especially in conflicts, especially when you're facing opponents. How have they solved the problem? Find an analogy. It's like a hack, it's like a shortcut. Rather than trying to figure out the academic paper, just find someone who wins fights. If that fight is enough like the fight we're all in against at Hackers Day today, we'll figure it out. Because analogies haven't worked before. We've regarded their networks as castles. How do you make a castle more secure? Make the towers taller, you make the walls thicker. But the problem with the castle is, same as per the padlock, the castle just sits there and gets attacked. And eventually you'll get through into a castle. Also, you can't run a business out of a castle, as many of us have learned and many of our users have learned. Now this approach is unusual, but I always quote this, the back it up metaphors for cybersecurity from Sandia National Labs, written in 2008. Worth reading, but a really good summary. Think about cybersecurity from a metaphorical perspective. And I forget the proper word, but I'm putting metaphors, similes, and analogies all together as one, and just running with the idea. It makes us understand our current approaches and gives us creative new approaches. So I think this is worth doing. So I've been thinking this way for the last few years, and I think, or I thought I found a solution. It's a seeding of an idea for counter-attacking, reacting to your opponent, focusing on your opponent is how organisations win conflicts in many different situations. Because castles don't work, padlocks don't work, you will get through to them in the end. It's about interacting with an opponent. It's about turning an attack into a fight, into a battle. So I've been thinking about this, look at Eingriff divisions. From World War I thought World War I, sort of after, I think Christmas 1916 was pretty static. Part of the reason it was static is the German military had an Eingriff division, which means you take over their trenches and they've got divisions lined up and be prepared to take those trenches right back. So as soon as an attack is successful against them, they beat that attack down and take over what the ground they've lost and kill several thousand men in the process. So that worked. That's part of the reason why World War I was so horrific. Right, so counterattacking, what else is there? Chess, nice simple representation of conflict. And I always want to learn from the winners. Who's best? Who's winning these conflicts? So who's the best chess player? It's Marcus Carlsen. Lots of stuff I could say about him. Basically, #1 statistically ranked, the best chess player in the world. You read about his strategic mindset. How does he win? They list the quality he has called nettlesomeness. Through chess analytics, people realise players against him make more mistakes than they do against anyone else, against any other opponent. He's not just better than anyone else. He makes his opponents make more mistakes and takes advantage of them. Look at my favourite sport, American football. Saying, right, who's best at that right now? You look at the league, you look at who's got the most wins. It's the New England Patriots, yet to lose a game. A ridiculous points difference. In 8 games, they've scored 189 points than the opposition. I think, I didn't have time to check today, their defense, the half of the team that's not meant to score, has scored as many touchdowns as all their opponents in 8 games. They are ridiculously good. According to advanced American football analytics, DVOA, coming from the Football Outsiders website. This is the best defense on an American football team since statistics were good enough for Football Outsiders to analyze this in 1986. You look at the New England Patriots, you look at the head coach Bill Belichick, you read about his strategic approach at the highest level. So the thing they always say about him is he adapts to his opponents. He doesn't have the one strategy he sticks to, unlike most of the other teams in the game. He will neutralize your strengths and he will exploit your weaknesses, is what they say about him. And I mean, he's won 6 Super Bowls and lost several more. Amazing coach, arguably the best coach in the league. But in the UK, so I should look at the, I noticed Chris said she was into football earlier, the other football. I mean, soccer. So who's doing well in soccer? Look at the Premier League, Liverpool. Again, have not lost a game this season. They are playing against Arsenal right now, I think, but not in the Premier League. I decided not to check the result before it started. Look at their head coach, or football manager, Jurgen Klopp. Look at Jurgen Klopp. What's Jurgen Klopp's main strategy? Gegenpressing. Gegenpressing basically means as soon as your opponents have the ball, you attack them. Not that you step back, you get into formation, you cover the passes. It's as soon as your opponents get the ball, they know you're after it, so they don't have time to figure out what they're doing. That works in soccer. So what do we have next? Look at cybersecurity. The product you're all protected by. Things to Canary, you put it on your network, it's basically a honeypot with a decent UI. So when attackers stumble across it, they don't know they've stumbled across it, this thing tells you there are attackers on your network. The first step in instant response. Thing is, you're all protected by this. How many of you use Things Canary on your network? For those at home, that's a show of no hands, which I really will be disappointed by. But you're all protected by this, as Sean Shaw explains. Well-known pen tester, bug bounty hunter. The concept of canary tokens, which is like a virtual version of Things Canary roughly, means when he's attacking the network, he slows down. Because you might have a canary or canary tokens, the virtual equivalent, on your network. So just because this product exists, attackers are having to be slower. Because you're interacting with your opponent. A Things Canary doesn't make your network any more secure, it just slows your attackers down and gives you a chance to start an instant response. So then I'll start to look at other things. There we go. The Dowling system. This is basically why the RAF won the Battle of Britain. It's not Spitfires, it's not Hurricanes, it's getting the right fighters against the right bombers immediately. You look at Tekken, the reason Arslan Ash is the world champion is because of what's called the whiff punish. When his opponents make mistakes, there's better Tekken terms for it, like something that basically beats the crap out of him. You make a mistake against Arslan Ash, he will win the competition, and that's why he's the world champion. And I see this over and over, and I start thinking, I'm amazing, I'm a genius. I've sorted cybersecurity, I'm a thought leader. It's counter-attacking, that's what we should all do. Because I've seen it in so many places, this is the winning strategy. Or, this is the Baader-Meinhof illusion. Which, actually, who's heard of the Baader-Meinhof gang? By a show of hands. Say 4 or 5. This will be interesting because a lot more of you will hear of them in future. 1970s left-wing German terrorist group. Because the Baader-Meinhof illusion is more commonly and professionally known as the frequency illusion. Someone noticed that they noticed the Baader-Meinhof group existed. This was in like the 90s or 2000s, after the Baader-Meinhof group had been eliminated. But just because they were attuned to looking for the thing, they saw the thing more often. So I'm attuned to looking for counterattacking. I think it's the real solution. I look through lots of different conflicts and I find counterattacking everywhere. Is counterattacking the secret to winning complex conflicts? Or is this just a frequency illusion and I've looked for a thing and I keep finding the thing? So it's not the winning strategy at all. So I need to prove this is the winning strategy. I made a quick list this afternoon of things I've made notes about, the things I need to learn. I think this is roughly 10 lifetimes and impossible. So I can't prove this is the winning strategy. So is the juice worth the squeeze of trying to learn all this? So this, as this kind of presentation, this is the big finish. I should give you all the answer. Is the juice worth the squeeze? How to determine your cybersecurity strategy? My answer is I don't know. And I'm interested, over pizza whenever it arrives, or drinks and whatever, as to what you think. Because like I said, you could spend several lifetimes figuring out strategy. The military is still figuring it out, and it's literally, you've got organisations like the British Army who've been fighting for, and have been particularly, let's say, adventurous overseas. Have been fighting for hundreds and hundreds of years, and still haven't figured out strategy in a relatively simple conflicts, because it's based in 3D physical space. Cyber warfare is so much harder, cyber warfare is so much more difficult. So if the military haven't figured out, like chess strategy is almost impenetrable unless you spend all the time on it. And that's chess, that's 64 squares and 2 sides. You don't know what assets you've got, you don't know who you're against, you don't know what terrain you're fighting on. So maybe the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like I'm having a really interesting time looking at all these different conflicts, but really maybe 95% of you are right. And it's just, we'll just hire the best people and we'll do the best we can. And maybe that's the best we can do without somehow in the cybersecurity, the problems with hiring cybersecurity people, finding 20 strategists who will go pay to sit in a room. Maybe that's something Saudi Aramco can afford, but not the rest of us. So my answer is a question, I don't know. So I'm interested with the scarily big finger, especially up there, that was quite impressive. I'm interested in what you think. I'd like to happy to discuss it now or by email or over Twitter. Thank you very much.
So, are there any questions?
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah,
Hello. So how much do you think the strategy is the CISO strategy? Because I think the CISOs know what they want to do, but they are not allowed to do.
Oh, I should have kept the microphone actually, shouldn't I? Thank you.
Thank you.
So the question I think came through was, how much is the CISOs know they want to do but can't do it? I mean, like I say, the point I made is I just happen to be down front with the microphone. I don't know. Again, I'm interested in what you think. Well, the CISOs have got the right ideas and just the board won't let them do it. But whether, especially, I mean, those of you like me have learned some of Wardley mapping, learned Simon. I mean, and I said this at the Open Security Summit to Simon Wardley. I said, because he's been, if you watch his presentations, he's been really dismissive about management consultants. And said, well, no one knows what they're doing. It's not strategy in business. And I said, are you just a bitter old man? And he said, which was nice that you could talk to him that way. He said, no, it's just these people worth thousands of pounds don't know what they're doing. They just make things up and sell it, and everybody does it because everybody else does it. In the same way, I think with CISOs, that might be the case. At the moment, I don't know enough CISOs to know if that's the case. So the answer to your question is I don't know, which is not the best answer, but it's the most honest answer. Next.
We will grill Nick during the panel, which, speaking of which, I will give you guys a chance to ransack the rest of the drinks. We may feed you another day. We really are the most of because Go Cowders have been incredible hosts and are just as hungry as you are, I imagine. But what we may well do is grill Nick and Chris and Ali, who I'm going to introduce shortly during our panel. Which I think we may as well just jump ahead with, and we will let you guys grab a drink, go to the bathroom and stretch your legs. We'll then resume, and then if pizza arrives, we'll take a serendipitous break. If not, we will finish early and send you on your way to grab food. And we will promise to feed you next time. Maybe, who knows? 10 minutes? Yeah, take 10 minutes, and then we'll resume. Thank you guys.